Educate yourself before you choose to do an early induction.
Alright, so I'm making this video and it's, not gonna lie, it's awkward and uncomfortable. This is very outside of my comfort zone, but I feel a need to do it, so I'm going to. I'm gonna start with the message that I want to get across. Educate yourself before you elect to do an early induction, especially if you are a healthy young woman. Now, I don't want that to be misunderstood. Early inductions may have their place for some people. I don't want this message or this video to be seen as like me giving you advice on your pregnancy. It's not. It's me telling you to educate yourself before you sign up for that and know what you're signing up for. My wife and I experienced like an extremely traumatic, disturbing, gruesome, violent labor and delivery because we elected to do a 39-week early induction because the doctors were telling us that the baby was measuring very large in the 99th percentile body weight. So before we continue, I just want to make it clear what my intentions are. Educate yourself, do research, go on Google, look up early inductions, read people's stories, decide if it's for you. Don't let the doctors talk you into it. It's a trend right now in pregnancy. It's becoming more and more common. And they try to play it off as if it's a safe and effective and gentle practice, but it's not. It's violent, it's gruesome, it's disturbing, it's dangerous, it's torture. It can cause trauma, which it did to us, and I'll explain. Just don't blindly trust your doctor. Just, obviously, I want to say listen to your doctor, but just do research. Really go online and start reading. I also feel the need to say this to kind of protect myself a little bit. I may be coming off as like dramatic or irrational or manic, maybe, I don't know. Especially for the people that know me, this is very out of character, which I was already told, but in a good way. So I want to say something like clearly. Your brain chemistry can actually change when you have a near-death experience. In my case, I think maybe my brain chemistry changed a little bit because I witnessed a near-death experience. And I mean, people try to downplay the intensity and the severity of a C-section. They'll try to tell you that it's like a gentle, practical choice. It's not. It should be reserved as kind of a backup plan if there are any complications. Again, please, this is like super important, and I'm probably gonna say it a bunch of times, but don't take my advice blindly and go make a decision that's life-changing. Just take my advice to go onto the internet and do research. Do more than just listen to your doctor. I am in severe regret for not going onto the internet and doing research. Me failing to go online and research early inductions led to my wife having like just the worst experience I could ever imagine, minus the baby and her not surviving, which I should probably say that. My son and my wife are fine. No, they're not fine. My son is fine. No, my son and my wife are, how do I even put this? My son is fine, he's healthy, he's great, I love him to death, he's amazing. My wife survived, she's alive, but she was put through some type of hell, and I've never seen this side of her. She's traumatized, she's struggling to function. And it was all because these doctors swindled us into thinking that early induction was a good route for her to go down, even though she's young, she's healthy, her vitals are checking out perfectly, the baby's healthy, there are literally zero complications. Everything is perfectly fine. And yet they said, oh, he's measuring large, so you should consider inducing early. Like they were excited about it. We were excited about it. I mean, I was telling people, yeah, we're inducing early. This is like, they use this medication that softens your cervix and it helps dilate your cervix. It causes consistent contractions that will push the baby right out. By the way, this is extremely important. Her cervix was closed, and thick, which, if you don't know what that means, it's basically your body's way of saying this baby's not ready to come out into the world. You're not ready for labor. So when we arrived to the hospital, I really don't want to get into too much detail, to be honest. I'm just going to keep saying it. Educate yourself before you elect to do a 39-week early induction, especially if you are a healthy, young woman. Do not take this as advice for what choice to make for your pregnancy. It's not advice. I'm imploring you to do research before you make a decision, because doctors don't seem to really care. Just do research, okay? Do research, educate yourself, go online. Before you sign up for it, go on the internet and read as much as you can. I am in extreme regret for not doing it. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever forgive myself unless this leads to something larger. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna have this, carry this with me forever. I really hope this is recording. Let me just briefly explain what an induction looks like, because doctors don't, and I feel the responsibility to do it. So essentially, you're brought into the hospital. So they put the woman in a bed and they do a cervical check, and they say, oh, you're this amount dilated, which in our case was 0. And then they kind of like almost seem a bit unsure about, like, they come up with a plan of how to proceed. Pretty much it'll be Cytotec or Cervidil that they'll most likely start with. Those are 2 medications that you either take orally or you take vaginally, and it dissolves and it allows your cervix to dilate and soften. So once they decide which one they want to give you, you'll take the medication. And you'll wait. They'll put you on a liquid diet. So you can't eat any solid foods. So depending on how dilated you are at this point, if you're 0 or if you're very low, like 1, expect for this to take a while. And by a while, I mean like 3 days. They're probably going to tell you, which they told us, oh, you might be seeing the baby tomorrow. Like, we're all excited. Me and my wife Genevieve were literally, like, it was like we were on a vacation. We're in this room, like, excited. Our family's excited. Everyone's excited. Everyone's texting us, good luck, guys. Let us know what's going on. Is the medicine working? She takes the first dose. In our case, it was Cytotec. They gave Genevieve Cytotec. They put her in bed. They hooked her up to a monitor. She's essentially now stuck to the bed. What I didn't know at this point in time was that was going to last 3 days, and I was going to watch her mental health plummet. They told us that Cytotec has a maximum of 6 doses before we reevaluate and decide what to do next. So again, I'm just trying to, I don't want to like tell the whole story, but I want to give you like a quick explanation of what like an early induction can look like, and often does look like. You take the first dose, you wait. You take the second dose, you wait. You take the third, you wait. They continue to do cervical checks, which are brutal. They're painful, they're intrusive. They do them over and over. They continue to check your cervix. In our case, nothing was happening. 0%, 0%, 0, 0, 0, nothing. They kept telling us, we're starting from 0. This is gonna be a long process. This is what it looked like for us. So basically they got through the 6 doses. And if you don't have any luck with that, which I had 0 idea was possible. I didn't know you could go through 6 doses and not dilate at all. Unfortunately, it is possible, and none of the doctors told us that. It would have changed the course of this entire thing if we had just been given more information, which is why I'm saying educate yourself over and over. Go on the internet, do research. I do not want my message to be don't induce early. I'm sure it has its place. I don't want my message to be don't get a C-section. I want my message to be educate yourself. Do your research, okay? Like, all right, I'm just gonna continue with the process. So now that they finished the first round of those medicines, which you can only have one of, by the way, you can have Cytotec or Cervidil. You can't have both. The next step in this process is to, which is where it gets like pretty kind of gruesome, is to break your water. When your water breaks, like it becomes kind of urgent to have the baby. Doctors are willing to break your water kind of no matter what. So in our case, 1 centimeter dilated, they broke her water. What I didn't know at the time was that the 24-hour countdown clock begins once they break the water. After 24 hours, the baby becomes more prone to infection and things can get very dangerous. So if you think about it, they broke her water at 1 centimeter, 24 hours started. They expect to get her cervix from 1 centimeter to 10 centimeters in less than 24 hours. Or at least that's what they wanted us to believe. In reality, what I believe is that they wanted to get her to the point of C-section. I mean, I know, see, that's the part that might sound a little bit like not factual. If you don't believe it, that's fine, but if you go online, you're gonna find 100 stories that are the exact same thing. So it's up to you, I guess, but I'm just gonna say it again. Educate yourself. Anyway, break her water. So the process after that is just like, for us, I can only tell you our process, but in general, what I'm seeing online, it's very similar. So pretty much this is the point where they start pumping you full of Pitocin. Pitocin is a drug that makes your uterus strongly contract. The goal here, which made sense to me, which I feel ridiculous looking back on it, thinking that that was a good idea. But again, I'm trusting the medical professionals. So the goal is to basically push the baby as hard as possible into her cervix so that it will dilate to 10 centimeters. The chances of it happening were slim, and we weren't told that. I mean, straight up, we were not told that it was sort of unlikely, like extremely unlikely. We were told the exact opposite. We were told, oh yeah, Pitocin, it'll get, like they casually speak about this drug. Like, oh, it'll get your uterus to contract and you'll have more consistent, more intense contractions, and it'll push the baby downward into your cervix and hopefully dilate your cervix. And I mean, looking back on it, I remember at this point thinking like, when are they going to give her the Pitocin? Like, they keep saying Pitocin, but they're not actually bringing it out. When is that going to happen? And now that I'm looking back on it, I can't believe I was actually like excited for them to administer Pitocin.
So I was just rewatching the video before I upload it, and I realized I missed a pretty crucial piece of information about Pitocin. When they started pumping my wife full of Pitocin, her water was already broken, which means the amniotic fluid was drained out of her uterus, which means the baby no longer had the protection that he should have. The combination of that and Pitocin being pumped into her caused his heart rate to drop, which is where things started to get scary. His heart rate dropped rapidly to like a scary level. A low enough level that the nurses actually came running into the room, like 5 nurses and the doctor came running into the room and made her switch positions. That happened twice. So like they switched her position, the heart rate went back. They basically turned the Pitocin back on, walked out again, and then 5 minutes later came running into the room. They were fully putting the baby in harm. Another thing, I think it's important to mention what Pitocin is and facts that are online that are just widely available that I failed to find myself before I went into this. Don't trust doctors. Google things yourself. This is the first link that pops up when you just search risks of Pitocin. It's from some website, ABC Law Centers. Fetal distress, abnormal fetal heart rate patterns, infant seizures, low APGAR scores, retinal hemorrhages, neonatal jaundice, brain injury, fatal death. And then another one that's not on here that my sister just told me. It can cause the baby to have a bowel movement in the uterus, which is dangerous. And if that happens, emergency C-section. She knows 2 people that happened to.
So anyway, so hopefully I described like the process clearly. I'm sharing my story as a form of just more content and more evidence that exists on the internet for people to see, and make an informed decision. Do not take this as advice for what to do with your pregnancy. Don't watch this video and then go decide what you want to do. Watch the video, okay? This is like important. Watch this video and then go to do research. I don't want to be accountable for what you choose to do. I'm just sharing my experience. So I need to finish what the process looks like. You basically, you sit in bed, you get the Pitocin, your uterus contracts, you're in a ton of pain. They gave her the epidural at this point. Like, really my goal with this video is to spread the word. I mean, that's it. I just want, if you're seeing this and you know someone that's either pregnant or mentioning the words early induction a lot to you, or if you've had a similar experience, or if you, I just want people to start, I kind of want to create like a place for people to gather, like, so that we can start doing something about it, is my goal. A few things can happen with this. We could either spread the word, raise awareness, educate people. Again, not educate people in terms of like, this is scientific fact. We're not doing that. All we're doing is saying like, go do your research, get informed, inform yourself. Don't just blindly trust doctors. It's not a good move. It's something that I wish we could do, but we can't, and it's unfortunate. I did it, and now my wife is traumatized, and I'm, I guess, traumatized. I don't know what's going on. So raising awareness is one of the outcomes. The other outcome that I keep tossing around a lot in my head is like, get a law made. Like, let's get this video to like make its way to lawmakers.
I want to clarify what I meant by the law thing. The idea that I had was essentially have couples sign a document before they follow through with the early induction, confirming that they understand what they are signing up for. I don't know what that would look like yet. It's just an idea, but if my wife and I had that document to sign, we would have never went down this road at all.
It's like a epidemic. It's happening. Go talk to like 3 women you know that have had a baby in the last couple years and see what they tell you. I mean, chances are they're going to say something about inducing early, and if they didn't experience that, someone they know probably did. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this. It's just because I keep hearing about it, and like, we just experienced the most awful thing in our entire lives, followed by the most incredible thing, which is our son, and he's amazing and we love him. Like, it's really great. I mean, I just want women to have a fair chance. Like, again, so the induction process. So it's get to the hospital, you get your doses of either Cytotec or Cervidil. After you receive that medication, the plan could be different, you know, according to your situation, depending on how dilated you are. If you're not dilated, the next step is to either break your water, administer Pitocin. As far as I know, those are like the only 2 things that can happen after the Cytotec and Cervidil. The next step, if you're not lucky enough to have success with the medications, is an emergency C-section. And if you don't want an emergency C-section, or I'm sorry, if you don't want a C-section, like if a C-section is not an option for you whatsoever, like you really, really want to deliver vaginally, which is what my wife wanted to do, you need to do research on early inductions, because like a lot of them end in C-sections. And all right, so I want to do something right now just to like quickly show you. Finding this information is much easier than you think. All I googled was like % of early inductions ending in a C-section. So let's check this out real quick. All right, so I'm a labor and delivery nurse, and my best advice is to make sure you know what you're signing up for before agreeing to an elective 39-week induction. If your cervix is still closed and thick at this time, it is likely that your induction could take 2 to 3 days, because you would have to start With cervical ripening, it can be an uncomfortable, frustrating, and boring process. Depending on your hospital, you may be stuck in your room and restricted to a liquid diet during most of that time as well, which is no fun if the process does take a couple days. In my experience, these are the inductions that most commonly end in C-sections. This is literally exactly what my wife and I experienced, and this is why I'm beating myself up for not doing research before we followed through with this process. So I'm gonna stop it here and just like think for a minute. So I fell asleep after recording that. It's the next day now. I think I said everything that I want to say for this first video, and I figured to add a little positivity to it. Here is Jack. Say hi, Jack. Say hi, buddy. Yeah. I don't know. I felt a little weird showing him, but I guess I'm just trying to drive the point home. I don't know. This whole video kind of has a negative feel to it. I want it to just be informative. But yeah, that's Jack. My wife Genevieve. Maybe I'll show a picture. She's recovering. She's doing okay. She's not great. Don't downplay your experience with early induction. If you got home and your baby's fine, that's not enough to just not talk about this. You can't just say, oh, I mean, your baby's healthy, isn't he? You got home, you have a baby. No, you have to address the reality of it, and that's what I'm trying to do. You have to address the trauma that they're putting people through and the hell that they're putting people through. It's extremely normalized for some weird reason. The whole hospital culture is like putting people in this mindset to think that this is okay. It's not okay. I've never seen my wife this way before. I feel awful for her. It's driven me to do this. This is like so not something I would ever do. So I'm just trying to drive the point home. So that's it. Please share this with people. I'm hoping that this can generate some momentum and we can start something. Share it with your friends and family. Share your stories. If you went through this, like, comment, and that way we can boost this a bit. Share your stories. Send me stuff. That's all I have to say. I hope this makes its way around.